Welcome to Shooting the Shift with Marilyn and Elizabeth. These light warriors, both native New Yorkers, walk their walk, talk their talk, and keep the real in the deal. This dynamic duo joined forces to assist you through your transformational journey one step at a time, empowering you with spiritual tools you can use in your daily life. Each show begins as a conversation creating an opening for spiritual connection. There are never any scripts, and Spirit is always illuminating the way. And that's when the shift hits the fan. The magical messages of the ancestors, spirit guides, and Gaia are respected, honored, and always given sacred space to communicate. Join Marilyn and Elizabeth as they shake shift up and do what they do best, speak from their hearts.
Welcome back to Shooting the Shift with Marilyn Maldonado. That's me. Elizabeth Lindsay, my co-host, friend, and sacred sister, is currently in the UK. She's checking off some of her goals, dreams, and aspirations from her bucket list. These are exciting times, and I am honored to be able to host sacred space for her on this amazing journey that she has manifested into reality. It's always a power-filled event when we can say and truly connect with the energy of witnessing our dreams coming true. And I feel that for Elizabeth, and I'm excited for her. Wow, the power of manifesting our dreams sounds like another interesting topic to explore. You know, Elizabeth and I would both appreciate questions on possible future topics that you, the listeners, would love to explore, that you would want us to explore as well with you. And, I appreciate your support and am truly grateful for you. Thank you for showing up, for taking the time from your busy day to be with me today. I'm excited, a little nervous as well, right? Because I'm not used to doing this all by myself. And June is the month that, I'm kind of doing it. Okay. So today I will be speaking about the power of the vows and contracts and promises that we have entered into consciously or unconsciously throughout our lives, and how we can become aware of these promises. So we will discuss the process of releasing ourselves from the energetic frequency loop. Each vow, promise, and contract has a frequency which dictates how we function in the world. So we may not even be aware of its presence when it is fully activated in us, like we're not really fully aware of that. We can feel something, but we really don't know what that something is. And I'll speak about the loop that is created by the spoken vow, contract, and promise, and how even when we utter the words out loud or in silence, we may not recognize that the statements we have just created will hold us in the promise. The energy of the promise may be present in our daily interactions with others, but we may be unconscious of its power. Recognizing that we may have entered into this lifetime as well as other lifetimes with the energy of a promise, contract, and or vow attached to our frequency can be helpful. Now, I am aware that many people do not believe in past life experiences, and that's okay, because this topic is not entirely focused on past life agreements. It's focused on agreements that we have entered into and continue to make unconsciously in our daily lives as well. There have been so many times in our lives when we were experiencing emotional pain, emotional supercharge of the experience. We may have made statements that carried a promise to alleviate the pain in that moment. But due to the emotional charge of the event, the word stuck to our energetic field as our promise or agreement, and it still remains as a frequency of the promise in our life today. We may be unaware of the frequency of the promise, but that will not negate the current that vibrates through us. So today we shall explore the power of prior contracts that we may have entered into unknowingly in our past lives as well as in this lifetime. I believe that we have entered into many contracts which carry the vows and promises from our spoken words without our full and complete understanding of the thread that we were creating, which became tethered to us. The tethered frequencies represent the karmic promises that we had entered into, which left us with a strong energetic imprint that we have not been able to free ourselves from. And I think this is important to know and to acknowledge that, these are possibilities, they really are possibilities. And because vows usually involve our agreement. It could be an agreement to do good things or an agreement not to do bad things, depending upon the wording of the vow and the intention we held in our heart at the moment of creating it in our past lives. These sacred promises of the past may have been carried through many past lives right into our current life. So maybe in this life or another, you judged wealthy people as selfish and evil, and you vowed not to be like them. You may have had a past life where you took a formal vow of poverty as well. And if in this lifetime you struggle with having enough money, you may hold the frequency of the vow of poverty. Like as I'm speaking, I want you to, make connections with some of this and see if some of this, makes sense or if it fits with certain, patterns, right, that you may be experiencing in your life. So have you ever considered that it could be possible that you might have self-sabotaged the desired flow of energy for happiness, financial success, achievement, and abundance due to a vow or a promise that you might have made consciously or subconsciously in this lifetime or in any previous lifetime? Yeah, that's something to consider, right? Because if that's the case, then we can work on that. We can fix that. Those promises may no longer serve you, but the energy of the belief is still active in your body. Some contracts or vows may also be ancestral in nature and can be handed down from one generation to another. So think about some of the statements that you have made over time that may also reflect some promises that you never intended to create. And I'm going to give you, a few statements, right? We're going to just talk about, maybe some of the words that we have put together and created. A vow, a promise, a contract, right? So, this is a statement. That's why we can never have good things. Well, when you make that statement, you just created a powerful statement of we can never have good things. Therefore, good things will not come. And if they do, they will not last long enough to be enjoyed. The vow is that we can never have good things, but the energy of the words also sends a different message to the receiver, which is because of you, we will never have good things. The spillback is that the person receiving the message feels like they're not worthy of anything, creating a belief of unworthiness in their belief system. Now it is possible for both the speaker and receiver of the message to feel the energy of unworthiness because the frequency is shared by both parties. And this statement may be one that has been repeated and handed down over time. So it's something to think about, right? I'm going to make another statement, which is humanity with no need of exchange of monetary compensation. This would be a promise of service. And this may reflect the healer's promise as well, entered into in a time when money was not a necessity to live. The medicine people or healers of the community were always taken care of by the community. They did not have need for currency because they were given shelter, food, and all that was needed. But as our system shifted to the exchange of monetary currency, and medicine people moved to different locations and practiced their medicine in different places. They needed monetary currency to provide food, shelter, medical expenses for themselves and their family members. The vow of no need for monetary compensation needs to be revoked. Many healers today still hold the energy of the vow of being of service to humanity with no monetary compensation, so they cannot allow themselves to charge for their services. And some will judge other healers for charging for services. A person in the service of others needs to release this vow so that they can be more available to do the work without the restraint of time and energy. When compensation is given and received, the person will be more available to provide the services to a greater audience. And I believe that this is important, right? Because, and it's also about self-care and self-love. We need to make this a part of the practice to do self-care and to, love yourself enough to deactivate that energy that you had put into place. Now, there's another one that I can think about, which is, money is evil and it creates negative changes in people. I've heard this before, This promise becomes the dominating frequency which repels money for fear of negative changes due to the acquiring of wealth. Wow, huh? The vow or promise is that acquiring money is bad. Therefore, whenever you are about to gain more money in your life, you may sabotage the receiving of it, right? Due to the underlying unconscious promise that you're not consciously aware of. That's a biggie, huh? And I'll make another statement, which is he will never change. These words spoken were not meant to become vows. You may have just spoken them because that was the feeling at the moment, but it may still be activated in your energetic field. The person you speak of may feel the current of the same energy holding them in the promise of never going to change. Since you believe he will never change, you may never allow the opening for you to witness the possibility of the change. Our vows may be actively interfering in our current lives by keeping us in the energy of the promise that no longer serves us. I believe it's important for me to mention that when I make these statements, I'm not holding anyone responsible for the outcome of others. I simply want everyone to recognize the power in our words, because regardless of whether we think it or say it out loud, the frequency holds an active charge. Now, since I believe that all time is now, the good news is that we can surrender the baggage from past life vows and current life promises that we no longer need to carry. We can be proactive in releasing ourselves from the energy of the belief system held in the frequency of the promise, vow, or contract. That feels good. Sure it does. There are a multitude of past life contracts, which may include chastity, obedience, poverty, which may be actively affecting us in this lifetime. So understanding the power that these contracts might hold over our lives is important to retrieve our power. My question is, why wouldn't we want to free ourselves from the karmic thread? Something to think about, yes? So revoking past life contracts may not cure all issues in our lives, but it does appear to uplift those who do it. I believe it's because we are actively and consciously resetting and declaring our intentions out loud. Think about the act of consciously releasing all that is no longer serving us in this lifetime, as we call our attention to the energetic frequency that is vibrating in us, with the frequency of revoking all that no longer serves our highest and greatest outcome. That feels really powerful. It feels really good. So I'd like you to just be able to have received that, right? Because that just felt so really good. You know, when we set our intention to releasing ourselves from any and all contracts, the momentum of our intention is stronger and activated to cancel and revoke all contracts that are not for our highest and greatest outcome. And I believe that being proactive with our words and how we label our experiences truly matter. The more we practice being mindful in both our thinking and the use of language, both in our internal and external dialogue, the easier it will be to deactivate and dismantle the power of the prior frequencies that no longer serve us. And I think this is an important, piece to just like think about what it is that we're saying out loud. Think about what it is that we're saying, to ourselves, and what it is that what energy is holding. Okay. Now we're about to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Welcome back to Shooting the Shift. We're having a conversation about releasing ourselves from the vows and contracts and promises that we have made throughout our lifetimes, as well as in this current lifetime. And so I'd like to, continue, right? And I'd like to talk about the conscious vows, right? Because they can sometimes be vows of abstinence, chastity, poverty, taken by monks and priests or nuns. Or it could be a promise made to yourself at a subconscious level. And such as, like, for instance, I have no desire for money or fame. When you make that statement, wow, that is, I've dedicated my life to serving humanity. That's really powerful. Thoughts like these bind you in such a high emotional frequency that even in the distant future, the new energy is not able to flow through a specific area of your life because of the supercharge of the old dominant energy, Remember that your energy goes wherever your strongest emotion resides. And if it is an energy of a lack, then it binds you till you consciously realize that you have to do something to break the bondage of the stagnant energy in a particular area of your life. So if you find that you are not able to move forward in areas such as your relationships, career, finances, success, health, it's time to visit the possibility of the unknown vow or promise that may be causing the disruptions. Do you remember the words, be careful what you wish for it may be granted? You know, those are really powerful words. I've heard them a lot in my lifetime, right? And, you know, it's about, in a moment we might want something, but we may not receive it right away. So when it arrives, we may be in a different flow of the desire. It might come true, but by then we do not want it. We don't even remember asking for it. You know, think about the statements that you have made throughout your life. Truthfully, we can't remember them all, right? I mean, it's really hard to remember all the things we've said to ourselves, or, you know, all the kind of promises that we've made that we didn't really know the impact of them, on how they would impact us. So I'm going to throw a few out here for you to ponder, right? Like, I will never fall in love again. Or I never seem to land a long-lasting job. There are no available jobs for me. Only crazy people approach me. I attract the craziest of people whenever I am out. Ooh, they seem like harmless statements, but if we are able to remember the power of our words, we wouldn't utter anything that reflects a negative energy in our direction. It is important to acknowledge that we are co-creators who put out energy and pull in energy, sometimes unconsciously and consciously, as we interact in the world. Think about this and ask yourself these questions, okay? Do you feel that you have tried everything and still feel that you can't release or change the patterns? Do you feel that way? Does it feel as though no matter what you do, it's impossible to catch a break? Is that a pattern that you kind of feel that is in place for you? Or that no matter how hard you try to change things, the change doesn't last? And, you know, have you attended like seminars and workshops and private sessions, you know, for healing and readings, and nothing has gotten any better for you? Maybe somewhere in your past life you made a promise and you haven't released it from your energetic field. In truth, you may have made several vows in this lifetime that you just aren't or weren't conscious of making at the time. So I'd like you to take a moment, right, and think about, and then think back on conversations where you made limiting statements to yourself. And what did that sound like, and what did that feel like? And, you know, just, I mean, this is an important, you know, process for you, because you can, you know, go back in that space and in that time and actually feel the power of those words and where they land in your energetic body as well, because it's housed somewhere within you, right? And how it's showing up as a pattern in your life, because that is truly important also. Look at the patterns and look for the messages, look for what it's telling you, what it's showing you. Take a really good look at what it is that is forming, you know, what it is that is, like, what is that path, my goodness, that just keeps that pattern that just keeps showing up. You know, have you ever said to yourself or someone else that you would never love another, or that you would never find the right person, the right jobs, or that you will never meet the right people? In this lifetime, you may have made similar statements relating to poverty and celibacy. Never is a powerful word. It carries so much energy, and it kind of reinforces itself. So how we express ourselves matters. And although we may not be conscious and aware of the way we speak to ourselves, it still matters because the impact is life transforming. You know, the promises made and the vows taken are the unconscious frequencies that guide us through our decision making. You know, we hold them, and so we make decisions based on that, but we don't even know we've made these promises or taken these vows. We are unaware of them. We don't really recognize the impact and the power that they hold over our decision making. Our beliefs tend to show up in our life. If we make a statement like, no matter how hard I try, I can never get it right. The statement that was made created the energy of your belief and created the energy of truth around this very belief system, which created a vow or promise that holds the frequency of, no matter how hard I try, I will never get it right. And the outcome will match the promise. You will try hard, but never get it right. Think about if you have made this statement. There is no way I will ever find someone who can love me as I desire. Well, you just set into motion the promise that you will never find someone who can love you as you desire. The frequency of the promise will vibrate in the unconscious level, keeping you from someone who can love you as you desire. So it's not that they aren't available. It's just that you've put this into a frequency where they can't show up. They cannot show up. And now, I really hope that the examples that I have shared with you today, have created a sense of curiosity, where you want to go back and start to, think about the way you express yourself and the things that you believe, and, be curious about that. And be more understanding about why you're choosing to make the statements that you're making, And, we will be creating a prayer to release ourselves from any and all vows or promises that we have made in our past lives. And I ask that you repeat the prayer until you feel untethered from the energy of the promise. And I want you to remember that this will be archived so you can listen to it again. It's a powerful prayer to release and surrender the vows and all promises made in our past lives, as well as in this current lifetime. So as we've discussed in prior shows, what and how we think matters, for it creates the frequency by which we begin to vibrate in the world. And that's how I see it. It sends a signal to matching vibrations, and it tends to become our self-fulfilling prophecy. And so that's why I'm always stressing, be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of the things that you say. Be mindful of what you put out, because it all creates a vibration, and then we tap into the matching vibration of what it is that we're putting out there, and we're calling it to us. And this is really important to recognize, that these are things sometimes that we really don't want to be calling to us, but we're not, how would I say, aware when we are making these statements, that what we're doing is that we are actually putting out a frequency that is moving in a certain vibration that is going to tap into that which you are articulating. So it's important to recognize that when we are saying something, that we really need to understand what it is that we're really meaning and the energy that we're putting it out with as well, right? Because sometimes the tone, right, and the energy that flows out with the statement really can be pretty strong and powerful. And then it kind of like holds the supercharge. So before we begin, I would like to reiterate that in enacting this ceremony for releasing ourselves from our vows, promises, and contracts, that it is important for us to set a conscious intention to allow the release and surrender of all that is not serving our highest outcome from all space, time, and dimension. And what matters most is that we are willing to give our full attention and energy to enact the dismantling of the promise that is no longer necessary in this lifetime. I'm really processing some information here, and so that's why you hear a little bit of the silence, because I'm trying to, trying to key into this energy right now, because I'm thinking about, may we be present, fearless, bold, and courageous, strong, and resilient. And may we remember that we do not have to carry the wounds of the world. It's so important for us to recognize our power and the ability that we really hold in our manifesting abilities, because a lot of times we aren't aware of that. We think that, things are just happening, that things are just happening, and things are just not happening. We are also co-creating the things that are happening. And so the more that we become aware of that, that power that we have, the ability that we have, the more that we become aware of that, the easier it will be for us to be able to, co-create new experiences, ones that are supercharged with possibilities, possibilities of obtaining all that we desire, and learning that when we speak of limiting, when we make limiting statements, that those statements are not going to bring us any good energy, as well as it may keep us longer in that negative energy that we are really not wanting to create in this space, time, and dimension. So I'm going to ask that everyone, prepares themselves as well, so that they have, a place where it's very quiet, so that when we do this beautiful prayer, this ceremonial prayer of release, that you're in a very quiet and safe space, that you turn off your phones as well, so that nothing interferes, I think about so many different things, like I'm always recommending the practice of being present in our daily lives, because it's so important to be present and mindful where we are, and not in the energy of the issues or concerns of tomorrow. This practice will assist us in recognizing when we are in the energy of creating statements that may bind us to an energy, but simply feeling in the moment. I'm not saying that we shouldn't plan for the future. I'm saying that our future desires need to be flowing from our conscious level of creating, and not from the unconscious energy of the past. The unconscious energy of the past will only serve to cause us more of the same old experiences that we are not wanting. Therefore, whenever we are aware of the statements that we are making, either out loud or in our self-talk, we can be more proactive in our lives, because in that awareness, we can choose differently. So we need to be mindful and aware of our thinking brain, because we have made it our guiding narrator, right? It's a narrator, right? So being more present and aware of our internal and external communication is key. When we are more in the doing activity than in the being activity, we tend to flow with the current energy of the unconscious patterns and behaviors. Sometimes the information is right on point, but more times than others, it's only cycling in the energy of how we have always handled the current situation, even if the outcome is always not what we were wanting. Yeah. So we'll be right back after this brief break.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. ascendinghearts.com.
Imagine yourself being transported to India, to the banks of the Ganga and an ashram in Rishikesh. Visualize that you are welcome to satsang with an American sannyasi who shares the wisdom of her guru. Your visualization has manifested. Join Sattvi Bhagawati Saraswati for inspiration and transformation every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
If I could be you,
and you could be me,
for just 1 hour.
if you could find a way,
to get inside.
each other's mind.
walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back to Shooting the Shift. So during this portion of the show, I will be creating a safe, sacred space for us all. And anyone that is interested in calling after this ceremonial prayer, they can do so at 202-570-7057. Okay, so I would like everyone to find a comfortable, quiet place to sit or lay down. Make yourself as comfortable as you can. Turn off your phones and create a sacred space and time for you in this moment. Now close your eyes, and if you can repeat the words as I speak them, that would be great. But if you are unable to repeat the words, listen to the words and allow them to speak to your soul. And if you fall asleep, no worries, the transmissions will be received. There is no right or wrong here. Let go of any limiting beliefs you may have around this activity. Just surround yourself with your guides and loved ones. I will be activating the frequency of surrender. I ask that you allow yourself to reconnect with your inner knowing at this time. Yes. Only beings of love and light are welcome here. Thank you for joining our protected sacred circle. I call to and welcome the energy and spirits of all that is above, Father Sky, star beings, cloud beings, planetary beings, and the cosmos. I welcome the divine masculine energy of the grandfathers, fathers, brothers, uncles, and sons. I welcome the energies and spirits of Father Sky and Grandmother Moon. I call the angels, elementals, divas, plant spirits, ether, and the one that weaves us all into connection with one another. I welcome all my ancestors and loved ones of love and light frequencies who dwell in this direction and ask that you join me and bless this space with the energies and spirits of the above. Only beings of love and light are welcomed here. Thank you for joining our protected sacred circle. I call to and welcome the energy of Mother Earth, the plant medicine, the stone people, and crystal people, the creepy crawlers, and to the spirits of all that is below. I welcome the divine feminine energy and the spirit of our grandmothers, our mothers, sisters, aunts, and daughters. I welcome the energies and spirits of Mother Earth, our guides and ancestors. I honor and respect the reflection of all that is and give thanks for our shadow. I welcome all of our ancestors and loved ones of love and light frequencies who dwell in this direction and ask that you join me and bless this space with the energies and spirits of below. Only beings of love and light are welcomed here. Thank you for joining our protected circle. I call to and welcome the energy of all our relations and to the place within. I give thanks for each living being in this planet and for the ancient heartbeat that connects us. I invite in the universal soul energy and the spirit of the one heart. I welcome the gifts of love, unity, and compassion for all. I welcome all of our ancestors and loved ones of love and light frequencies who dwell in this direction and ask that you join me and bless this space with the energies and spirits of within. Only beings of love and light are welcomed here. Thank you for joining our circle. This circle is a safe and sacred space. Now that I have called in the directions and have invited our ancestors in to be near and to assist us, I shall begin with the ceremony. May we feel and allow the frequencies to flow with ease and grace as they begin to shift our energetic karmic connection. Calling in all who work in love and light, ascended masters, God goddesses, ancestors of the healing light, and Archangel Michael to cut the cords that are tethered to my energy in this lifetime and from all other lifetimes. I demand the release of my vow and promise from every space, time, and dimension where I gave up my power. In this moment, I release and surrender any and all vows and or promises made in my past lives as well as this current life. I forgive those who shackled me, who chained me. I forgive myself for disempowering myself. I release my karmic connection to all the vows ever made of limitation, of powerlessness, of not enough, of lack, of not belonging, of self-sacrificing, of chastity, of poverty, and any and all vows and promises that limit my expansion in this world. I release myself from false truths that hold me hostage through all space, time, and dimensions. I surrender the emotional attachments to any and all stories that distorted the reality of who I am. In this moment, I reclaim and stand in my full power, in my full and complete authority. I declare and reclaim my seat at the table and recognize the power that stands before me. I call in all who work in love and light, the energies of the spirit of all above, the energies of the spirit of all below, the energies of the spirit of all within, all the archangels, god goddesses, ascended masters, and the ancestors of the healing light to bring forth the power to create new pathways into new positive karmic connections for me. So be it, so it is. Blessings, love, and light. May the frequencies of these words assist us in receiving our new karmic connection. I am in deep gratitude for all our ancestors and guides who came to assist us in this releasing of our old karmic connections that were no longer serving our highest and greatest outcome in this space, time, and dimension. I am in deep, deep gratitude for our great surrender and our new positive karmic connection. I'd like you to take beautiful deep breaths in and out, allowing yourself to receive all the frequencies and to be able to release all the frequencies that were being released, that were being moved. This is an amazing, beautiful, beautiful, energetic, positive karmic connection that we have made. And hopefully you can feel this beautiful, beautiful energy, and that you were able to feel the presence of, all the beautiful ones who came to be a part of this blessing and to be a part of this surrendering, right? That we're so needing, right? We are so needing. I am so deeply, deeply, deeply grateful. I believe that, practice, practice, practice until it feels good in our soul, that is what is necessary. That we always have the power to shift our experiences in any given moment. And that we need to be more mindful of our communications with ourselves and others, and what it is that we put out into the universe. Because what we put out, we receive. Wow. If we want to change any part of our experiences, we need to begin with being mindful of the promises, contracts, and possible vows that we make in our everyday lives. We can shift energetic charge by simply revoking the words spoken or the thoughts or beliefs around the experience. To do this, we must be mindful of our words and our thoughts. And I know that I'm being, repeating this, and I continue to repeat this, but there is just so much energy around that, because it is so important to remember that we have the power. We have the power to co-create our experiences. And if we're having experiences that don't feel good, then it's important for us to recognize why we're having these experiences. What is it that we're believing? Or what have we created or put out into the universe that the universe keeps giving that back to us? Now, we have made this beautiful, beautiful prayer that, to help us to release, the energetic charge around, the vows, contracts, and promises that we have made over time. And it's really important for us to, continue to do this process. Like I said earlier, this is going to be on archive, so you can continue to do this. Continue to do this process, because it's going to help you to feel better. We have to think about, sometimes we make statements that, we're making them really casually, like without the understanding of its impact on our lives. We could say statements like, I will not trust again, or I will not allow myself to be vulnerable again, or I will always be different and never fit in, or I will protect my heart from pain, or I will never trust anyone again. Wow, think about these things. Or I will never ask anyone for help. Paying close attention to our language will assist us in dismantling the promises and the vows that we are unconsciously creating in real time. We are that powerful. I'm here to give you that message because I think sometimes we really don't know how truly powerful we are. We really sometimes have no idea how powerful we are in co-creating and manifesting. And I'm here to tell you that we are co-creators and manifestors. And so we need to be mindful of our words, how it is that we communicate. It's really, 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 really important. And I can't even stress it enough, because it just feels like I've said it so many times, today. And I probably continue saying it, throughout our conversations, together, because it really is the truth that I hold, right? That once we are understanding our power place and our ability to manifest what it is that, we are desiring, then, wow, things will start to change. So today, start that process. Start putting beautiful, promises out there for yourself, empowering yourself, sending those messages out to the universe and reclaiming your power back. So if you catch yourself saying something that you go, oops, you can always say, oh, that's okay. I don't really believe that anymore, and I'm releasing energy feel, because that is not what I believe anymore. When you do that, you revoke it, you take it back, okay? And so I'm also going to recommend a song today. It's called Live for Today by Fearless Soul. Live for Today by Fearless Soul. It is amazing. I truly love it, and I think it's an empowering song for today. You know, I also want to share where you can find me, right? So you can find me through my website, which is universalsacredmedicine.com, or my Facebook page, facebook.com/sacredmedicine, or my Instagram, which is instagram.com, Marilyn Maldonado, IG. You know, so on June 22nd, our next show will be all about the magic of creating your altar. So if you have an altar, wonderful. And, you know, you can call as well, right? And during that show, and we can talk about, you know, the difference of altars as well. So thank you so much. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Blessings, love, and light to all.